I've had a few requests to do this video and I'm so excited to do it today. So today I recreated the makeup look that was done on me for my Sigma brush set photo shoot. So the makeup look was done by Dani. She was Sigma's global makeup artist for like 10 years, I want to say, maybe even longer, but I'll link her Instagram down below. She's an amazing makeup artist in Minnesota. She also did my makeup for the palette photo shoot too. And it's funny because when we were planning these photo shoots, you know, they asked me, do I want to do my own makeup or do I want Dani to do it? And I was like, of course I want Dani to do it. Like, it's very rare for me that I get to have someone else do my makeup, so I really wanted to see how she would do it, and she just kills it every time. So if you want to learn how to do this glam eyeshadow look using my palette with Sigma, go ahead and keep on watching. But before we get started, this video is kindly sponsored by Ana Luisa. I've been working with Ana Luisa for quite a while now, but they really have become one of my favorite jewelry brands, and that's because their pieces are high quality, long-lasting, hypoallergenic, water-resistant, and sustainable. Their pieces start at just $39, and they have free and fast shipping in the US, and they offer a 2-year warranty on all of their products. I am wearing a pair of their earrings today. This is probably my most worn style from them. I like them because they're kind of a simple hoop, but they kind of have a little bit of a checkerboard pattern, and I am just a sucker for a checkerboard pattern. I'm pretty sure this is one of their best sellers as well, but I have had so many earrings from them and none of them have like turned my ears green or tarnished at all. And I have 2 new Ana Luisa pieces that were added to my collection, and they are both bracelets. I have been loving wearing a bracelet stack, especially now in the summer where we're wearing tank tops, our arms are out, and I love the look of a stack with my tattoo. I just think it looks so cool. So first we have this Danae soft box chain bracelet, and it really is just your basic chain bracelet that would pair nicely with so many other pieces. And the other one is this Arlo bangle bracelet, and this one is one of those cuff style pieces that are super easy to take on and off, and you can like squeeze it tighter if you need to. And I just kind of pop it on like that and she is on. But I've been wearing these 2 pieces so much, I even fell asleep in this bracelet the other night because I literally forgot it was on me and it didn't like bug me at all. I've been happy with every single piece that I've tried from Ana Luisa, and they have everything ranging from rings, bracelets, earrings, and necklaces. So if you want to check out any pieces from Ana Luisa, I'll leave a link down below for you, and I believe they are running a little 4th of July sale right now. Thank you again to Ana Luisa for sponsoring this part of the video, and now let's get into this makeup tutorial. I always love recreating looks that I see online, and this one's just extra fun because it was a look that was done on me, but I did not do the makeup myself. So I think this will be fun to try Dani's technique, use my palette and my brushes in a different way than I typically would. I want to start by watching the video with you guys and kind of walk through what Dani did. All right, so she starts by priming my eyes with my AB1, and then she takes it basic on my small blending brush, puts that through the crease, builds it up quite a bit. Looks like she adds schmoogala here to kind of deepen it up. Blends with my fluffy blending, more layering. Looks like this is cold brew with my shader brush. More blending, more blending. This is a very blended look. And then she goes in with Autumn on my crease brush on the center of my lid. And then she layers up Champagne Problems on that entire inner part of my lid and kind of blends it into Autumn. And then for the lower lash line, looks like she takes a Cold Brew and just really adds a lot of color down there to deepen it up, blends it out. And we did a lot of black liner for this as well. Yeah, this is a glam, smoky look. And then she does my base makeup and everything, but I already have my foundation, concealer, and blush and bronzer on right now. All right, let's get started. So of course I have my palette and my brush set here, and there is a bundle of these 2 available on Sigma's website where you get a really good value for getting both of these together. So I will link that down below, but you can also get these individually if you want, and you can always use my code AngelaBright to save on Sigma's website. So my entire eye area is already primed. I applied my Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer, set that with the translucent powder, and then I also already did my under eye concealer and again set that with powder. So Dani starts in my crease with the transition shade, which I always do, but she used my small blending brush, and I'm actually going to use my fluffy blending brush just because this will be a little bit quicker and is going to cover more surface area. And I'm going to use my old palette today. This one has pan in 4 of the shades: Bright, Basic, Bare, and Cold Brew. So I'm going to start with Basic on my fluffy blending brush, and I'm going to place this shade throughout my entire crease. What's really funny to me is that whenever I do these videos where I'm recreating someone else's look, I always say that things might look kind of different because of the model's face shape and everything, but in this case, I am the model, so I would expect that I can get a pretty similar result to what Dani did on me, right? So I'm gonna try my absolute best here. So I am doing a couple layers of the shade and just really building it up in my crease all the way from this outer crease area towards the inner crease. And this is actually how I start pretty much every single look with my palette, with this brush and this shade in my crease. Now she does also bring this shade to the outer part of my eye, kind of making a really pretty V shape. So I am gonna switch to my smaller blending brush for that. So I'm taking more basic on the tip of this brush, and I'm gonna start to build up this on my outer corner. She almost brings it like halfway along the lash line area. So I'm kind of dragging out this shadow to give it that kind of lifted effect. And then I'll just soften over that with my fluffy blending brush. Now I'm gonna keep both of these brushes close by as I'm adding more and more brown shades to my outer corner, because I'm gonna layer on shadow with the smaller brush and then blend with the fluffier brush. So now I'm gonna grab Schmoogala on my small blending brush, and I'm gonna make that V shape again and just really build up the shadow on the outer part of my eye. And then when I say V shape, I kind of mean like this, because the shadow goes down here to the outer part of my lash line. And see how it looks like a sloppy V? That's what we're going for, but much more blended than this, right? So I use this brush to place down that initial shadow, and then once most of the product is off of the brush, I can use it to start to soften out the edges. I got something like that, then going back to basic on my fluffy brush, and I'm gonna blend and soften this out. It looks like she starts with basic and then Schmoogala, which I did, and then she deepens it up with cold brew and then goes back to Schmoogala to blend. So I'm gonna pick up cold brew on my shader brush, and again I'm still gonna be following that V shape to deepen up the entire outer corner. Okay, wait, I think she actually blends out with more basic first, because it looks like the colors soften up quite a bit, and that's kind of what the shade of basic does. So I have more basic on my fluffy blending brush, and just gonna use that to blend on top of everything to kind of smooth it out. And this is kind of different than what I normally do when I use my eye looks. I tend to use my transition shades to kind of just blend more around the edges, but it looks like Dani uses this shade a lot just to blend on top of everything. So I will try that out. Alright, that blend is looking pretty good. Now back to Schmoogala on my small blending brush, and I'm just kind of re-intensifying this shade again in the outer corner. And then going back to my fluffy brush, I have no additional product on this, but again I'm using this to kind of soften over everything. I'm gonna stop here with the matte shades, and now I'm gonna add the shimmers. I'm gonna grab Autumn on my crease brush, and I'm gonna place this shade more on this like outer 3/4, kind of center of my eyelid. I really love that she used this shade to connect the inner corner to the outer corner, because I do this kind of step a lot where I use two shimmers, but I use the steeper one on this part of my eye. And it really does just help with the blend and make it look nice and smooth. Now it's time to add my favorite shimmer shade from my palette, which is Champagne Problems. So I'm also going to take that on the flat side of my crease brush. So this is going to go on this inner blank part of my lid. And I'm probably going to do a few layers of this shadow to really make it pop, because this one just really stood out in all of the campaign photos. We have it on this inner lid, and I'm kind of feathering it into that autumn shade. Then I'm going to take my small blending brush with no additional product on it and just kind of softly blend around the edges right here in the inner crease around Champagne Problems. And then it looks like she adds a little bit of depth to the lash line and also takes that shade kind of into the outer crease on the small detail brush. So I picked up the darkest shade Cold Brew and just gonna stamp that along my top lash line. And kind of re-intensify some of the definition out here. Now let's move on to the lower lash line. So we did a pretty intense black smoky liner for this look, so there's going to be a lot of shadow along the lower lash line. But I'm going to start with Schmoogala on my small detail brush, and I'm running that across my entire lower lash line. Like I said, a lot of shadow down here. Then I'm taking my small blending brush with Basic, and I'm using that to soften out the lower lash line. I might have used Schmoogala instead of Autumn on the lower lash line because looking at the pictures, I have a shimmer down there which looks like Autumn to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and add that. So I have Autumn on my small detail brush, and I'm gonna add this to the lower lash line. And then just soften a little bit more with my small blending brush. So then one of the last steps is adding a lot of black liner along the entire eye. So I'm gonna grab this Jones Road gel liner in black with my small detail brush, and I'm gonna start by lining my top lash line with this. Now I designed this brush to be more of a small detail brush, not really a liner brush, because I think for some people this is still too big as a liner brush, but it does work for a liner brush for me. And what I like about this is that it gives you a really kind of soft diffused line. It's not going to give you a harsh line of liner. And then I'm also going to bring this liner along my waterline and lower lash line. Now I know that Dani did dip into another palette just to grab a matte black shadow, so I'm going to grab this one from my Patrick Ta palette, and I'm just going to stamp that on top of the liner on my lower lash line. And then I'm going to soften out that black a little bit with more Schmoogala on my small blending brush. Now it does look like she brings the black up a little bit higher, more in this outer crease area like I've been doing, but then she also does a wing, which is not shown in the video. But I'm pretty sure she did not use this brush for a wing because I don't think it's possible and I'm not going to attempt that. I'm gonna take a little bit more of that black shadow just on this very, very outer corner of my eye. Blend a little bit with my small blending brush. I have not done a winged liner in so long, but I think since like most of the eyeshadow is done, I have my liner done, it should be pretty easy to do. So I'm just gonna take this Sigma liquid liner pen in Wicked and attempt to do a wing. Okay, that is my attempt. Now I'm gonna add just a little bit more black shadow kind of along the wing just to kind of soften it out. Alright, that is pretty much it for the shadow. I'm gonna go pop on some mascara and lashes now. Okay, mascara and lashes are on, and for my lashes, I'm wearing the Bright Lashes Flutter, which are no longer available because my company is now officially out of business at this point. I did a lash closing sale, and you guys bought all of my inventory way, way faster than I ever expected. I truly thought it was gonna take a couple weeks or a couple months to get rid of all my inventory because I had over 600 lashes, and at the time I'm filming this video, I am out of every single style of lash except all natural, and I think I only have like 30 of those left in stock. So by the time you're seeing this video, I believe I am completely out of lashes, which is absolutely crazy to say. And I just want to say thank you so much to anyone who purchased lashes during this lash closing sale. Like, it was way, way bigger than I expected. But Flutter is the lash that I wore during the photo shoot, and I gotta say, I think I did a pretty good job at recreating the eye look that Dani did on me. So here's the final close-up. And I need to go get this eye caught up now. All right, here's what the full face of makeup looks like. Again, I think I did a pretty good job. It's also just funny because my hair now is completely different than it was in the campaign. I had my long curly hair before and now I am short and lifted with my floof. But this is definitely one of like the most glam looks you can get with my palette. But then I also added a matte black shadow from a separate palette to really deepen up the look. For my blush today, I used my Patrick Ta cream blush in Not Too Much. And then I just randomly wanted to use one of the Tower 28 matte blushes. This is the shade Samo Spritzer. So I just have a little bit of this on top of that. My lip combo is from Huda Beauty. I'm wearing one of the new lip contour stains in the shade Rosewood with the Faux Filter Jelly Oil in Juicy Goji. As always, I'm gonna link the products and brushes I used today down below. Again, if you wanna check out my brush set or my palette, you can get these together in a bundle on Sigma's website. And a friendly reminder to check out Ana Luisa for any of your jewelry needs. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.